What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed, born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And for today's video guys, I have a very important news. You probably already know that NextBridge Hydrocarbons files a petition against TradeStation. And in today's video, I will show you why you shouldn't rely on this document as a lawsuit and what is the difference in between petition and the lawsuit. And I will show you how this fact will benefit our case and what should we do next. On top of that, I will show you quite interesting fact that was discovered by one of our community members. And this might also be a potential path to the resolution of the major problem of MMTLP community. So, and before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm. It takes me more than 4 hours on a daily basis to make these videos, but it takes you just split of a second of your time to hit the like button. That is why I want to exchange more than 4 hours of my hard work for just split of a second of your time. That is why just hit the like button. So, and let's start with the news itself. On MMTLP Resources we can find this article that is titled NextBridge Hydrocarbons files petition against TradeStation. Let me quote you all these details. NextBridge takes action by filing a petition for discovery against TradeStation. The broker, the company has all but proven that an oversold situation exists. This comes from the January news that TradeStation has no more shares available to send to ST. And if you want to read this entire petition, you can find the link to it right here. But let me quote you further. It is important to note that this is a civil case primarily designed to gather data about the oversold situation. But data is what we need to move forward. So overall, this is extremely positive to see NextBridge stepping up and taking some action for their shareholders. And let me show you some major deadline in regards to this case. As you can see on Meta News Twitter account, you can find this tweet. Breaking news, NextBridge Hydrocarbons petitions TradeStation Securities seeking to investigate potential claims or suits. A hearing will take place on May 31st, 2024 at 1 p.m. via Zoom call. And guys, I have to say that you shouldn't count on this document as a lawsuit. And let me show you that, for example, Ali from Trading Secrets YouTube channel wrote this tweet. NextBridge Hydrocarbons files a lawsuit against TradeStation Securities. Guys, it is not a lawsuit. You shouldn't rely on it as a lawsuit. And in a minute, I will show you the difference in between the lawsuit and the petition. Let me show you this tweet that was published by Mark Basil, and he wrote it just 9 hours ago. He said, this isn't a lawsuit. In fact, it's the Texas equivalent to our petitions in New York against FINRA and the OTC markets. It's a proceeding to gather information. Glad they are pursuing this, but of course, I expect TradeStation to fight it, because there is too much to lose if the information becomes public. On top of that, he added this. I'm not too concerned anymore on who said what. Just need to stick to provable facts and it will all shake out in the wash. Our client's actual lawsuits is coming. It's about 80% done. So are the 136 subpoenas. And guys, as you can see, Mark Basil and his law firm is preparing this lawsuit. It is about 80% done, and as he stated just a couple of days ago, he will file it within just a couple of weeks. And here you can see that in this lawsuit, there should be 136 subpoenas. Definitely, some of them might be more important for the result of this case, some of them less important, but in general, I hope Mark will get a lot of answers out of this lawsuit, and definitely it is another major step towards the resolution. On top of that, he wrote this in response to Brian's question. You'd bring him to court with you? And Brian asks about C plant, because just recently it was rumors and it was an allegations that C plant potentially doctored some of the documents. And Mark Basil responded, the attorneys in my firm are the only ones we bring to court unless it's a trial. However, I plan on taking many depositions sworn to under oath after I get bank statements, emails and account information from subpoenas. So definitely all the facts should be proven and all the depositions should be made under the oath, and only in this case we will see the bigger picture of the entire problem, and we potentially might have a resolution in our favor. So let's get back to the petition itself. Let me show you this tweet that was published by Junk Savvy 11 hours ago. She posted just one screenshot out of this petition, and let me show you it in details. It is basically documents and the actions that should be exposed. So, verified Rule 202 petition, page 5. Exhibit A, deposition topics. 1. The number of MMTLP shares lent out on December the 8th, 2022. 2. The brokers to whom the shares described in topic 1 were loaned. 3. The current number of NextBridge shares held in either short or long positions by TradeStation customers. 4. Whether any MMTLP or NextBridge shares loaned by TradeStation have been returned. 5. Whether any borrower of MMTLP or NextBridge shares made any cash deposit in connection with borrowing shares, and, if so, the amount of the deposit. 6. TradeStation's business practices with respect to the documents requested in Exhibit B, whether they are business records. And here is the Exhibit B, document requests. 1. Documents sufficient to identify the number of MMTLP shares lent out on December the 8th, 2022. 2. Documents sufficient to identify the brokers to whom the shares described in Request 1 were loaned. 3. Documents sufficient to identify the current number of NextBridge shares held in either short or long positions by TradeStation customers. 4. Documents sufficient to identify whether any MMTLP or NextBridge shares loaned by TradeStation have been returned. 5. Documents sufficient to identify whether any borrower of MMTLP or NextBridge shares made any cash deposit in connection with borrowing shares, and if so, the amount of the deposit. And guys, you can see that these requests are very important, and they will definitely expose a lot of information in regards to this naked shorting activity. And that is why Mark Basile stated that it will be extremely difficult to acquire this information, and TradeStation will fight it. And definitely, we shouldn't rely on this petition alone, and that is why we have to continue to push our case through other paths. But definitely, this path might be extremely useful and important. On top of that, guys, let me remind you that today is the deadline for Richard Hoffman's arbitration, one of the deadlines, and it is a preliminary hearing where it should be a decision whether or not the main arbiter should be changed. And I think within the next 24 hours, Richard will do an update in regards to the results of this preliminary deadline. On top of that, guys, let me show you quite interesting letter. Let me remind you that on January 30th, 2024, it was written a letter from FINRA to Greg McCabe. And it was disclosed by FINRA itself. You can see that on April 18th, 2023, FINRA published a correspondence with NextBridge Hydrocarbons, and they added this list by several letters a little bit later. And here you can see the January 30th, 2024 letter from FINRA to NextBridge Hydrocarbons. And let me show you this letter, and let me quote you this paragraph. For constructive conversation at our meeting, please provide us in advance any specific information you have regarding the names of the financial institutions referenced in your letter, and the size and location of the referenced short positions. We will then analyze the information and compare it to our estimate of the aggregate short interest position in MMTLP shares in accounts held at FINRA member broker-dealers. Without this information, it will be difficult to have a productive meeting. And guys, let me show you this. Let me show you some comments from Marcus. And Marcus wrote, besides Robert's mediocre fishing attempt to find out Greg McCabe's imbalanced numbers, which probably is not the full picture, 90 days have passed and no resolution has come from this communication. Where is the SEC participation in the resolution? Did this meeting ever happen? Why does Robert Colby need Greg McCabe's numbers to have a conversation? Why FINRA, the regulator de facto, relies on the company for any share imbalance information? So we could maybe look for a solution. Robert, why without this information it will be difficult to have a productive meeting? And that is a very important and cool question. Next one. You don't know the numbers, Robert. You have a system that costed millions of dollars to taxpayers to track the entire market, and you don't have the numbers. Why MMTLP investors have to gather support from hundreds of Congress representatives and senators to pressure the parties to resolve this? Why would David Nunes go straight to Congress, skipping two market regulators, FINRA and SEC? After all of this, FINRA, who do you work for? How many days since December the 9th, 2024? 507. And guys, our case is extremely unique, and in my opinion, FINRA and SEC, they are both in the dead end because they cannot move in any direction. They cannot resolve this case without exposing some wrongdoers. They have to show the numbers of share imbalance, and because of this petition that I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, we might find this information, we might know this information. But at the same time, guys, let me show you this extremely interesting tweet that was published by Costas. And John Burdo reposted it, and Costas wrote it just a couple of hours ago. And he said, hey idiots, because of the MMTLP FINRA U3 halt, all short shares that FINRA says exist and brokers have reached out to NBH to purchase directly are now counterfeit shares, failures to deliver. Let me quote that unethical Georgetown professor wrote in a letter to the SEC back in 2008. And here's the quotation. When a seller fails to deliver a security on the normal settlement date, an owner of the security is effectively forced into making an involuntary stock loan to the seller. He panicked at the time. This violates one of the basic property rights of an owner, the ability to exclude others from the use of the property. McCabe and NextBridge Hydrocarbons have every right to inquire about undelivered property in an investigation. Same thing via a congressional hearing. We all want transparency, which will prove who is ultimately right. And yes, guys, on top of that, if the shares are not on the balance sheet of the owners of NextBridge Hydrocarbons owners, I mean on your balance sheet, you have to receive a payment for this loan because you lent your shares. Technically, you lent your shares to some other parties, and these people or these companies should pay you back because you cannot use your property, and that is why you have to receive a lot of payments for your shares. So I think it is another path how we can push our case forward, and shout out to Costas because he made this due diligence and he added these screenshots of the Georgetown professor who stated this. And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and two children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only got